If you're trying to drive more direct bookings right now, here's the reality. They don't just magically happen. You have to actually stay in front of your guests. And one tool I've actually been recommending for a very long time is StayFi. What's really cool about them is that they turn your Wi-Fi itself into a data capturing tool. So every time a guest connects, you're collecting contact info, and not just from the one who booked, but from everyone who's staying in the property. And that's a huge unlock because most operators don't even own even a fraction of their guest data. And in a time of AI, data is king. From there, StayFi actually helps you turn that into bookings with automated emails, post-stay follow-ups, and campaigns that bring guests back. I've seen portfolios collect tens of thousands of guest emails and more than double their direct bookings in less than a year with this StayFi feature. And if you don't have time to run all of that, or you prefer to be more hands-off, they now offer managed email marketing services where their team just handles it for you. They've also made their setup way easier with a new hardware option called Aginet, which is up to 40% cheaper than traditional setups. So if you've been thinking about building a real direct booking engine, now is a fantastic time to start. Head to stayfi.com/goodmorninghospitality to learn more and to get 50% off your first 3 months. That's stayfi.com/goodmorninghospitality.
Good morning.
Happy Monday on a pre-record day right now. Brandy and I are probably on a plane.
Yeah, I'm on a plane on my way to see you though. So exciting.
That's what's up. Sarasota, we're all convening. There's a good little contingent of STR people, and I'm sure some pictures and posts will come out over it over the next few days, but looking forward to seeing you and so many more.
I know it's going to be so much fun. What will you have done this weekend?
Let's see. Probably either the pool or the creek. Going to grill out at a buddy's house, but the rest is a wild card. Little man has not been sleeping good. So if I'm fumbling through this morning, then I apologize.
It's okay.
But
I got you. I've had I'm on my second cold brew of the morning, so I can pick up the energy.
Yep. I'm on 3, but you'll never be able to tell. So,
yeah. Well, this is my this will be my last recording at home for at least a month. I'm moving my base to the Adirondacks for the next couple weeks. Although it's so funny because half of that time I'm also traveling for work. So my my dream of spending a month in the Adirondacks is peppered by work travel, which is actually great. I'm excited. I get to go see you, get to see teams around the country, which is fun. But yeah, I'm excited to be in the mountains for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm jealous of that. It is certainly summertime feel down here in central Alabama. And the July, August months are as bad as it gets. I hate it. I don't like being outside. But I want to encourage my kids to always be outside. So it's a bit of a conundrum for this.
Be comfortable with sweating.
Well, yeah, it's not even that. It's just the sun. Anyway.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Well, Well, before we dive into Sarasota's gonna be fun. Also hot, but fun. Exactly. Well, before we jump into today's episode, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors at StayFi. StayFi helps short-term rental operators build direct guest relationships through branded Wi-Fi portals, email marketing, and guest data tools that turn one-time bookers into repeat guests. Start growing your direct booking revenue today at stayfi.com/goodmorninghospitality or find that link in the show notes. So actually, before we jump into any articles, I want to give a shout out to Tim Rizzolio and the team at Verbo because they have launched a partnership with Little Free Library. And so if you're interested in participating as an operator or even an individual, I have a link that we can post to it, but they've already put up 12 free little libraries, and they're in several markets, including Austin. And I can also contribute as an individual. So I'm going to be sending this to my STR brands to see if anyone is interested in participating. But as an individual, I have to give my recommendations to some of my favorite books that I've read recently. So in case anybody are big fiction fans, I've been talking a lot about the Red Rising series. So highly recommend that. Project Hail Mary, and Kafka on the Shore. So if you need some summer reading, check out any of those books and get back to me and tell me what you think. And if you get sucked into Red Rising, you're welcome, because it's incredible.
And leave it in one of Verbo's book homes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
I saw this and I was so happy.
It's very inexpensive marketing from their standpoint, and such good product placement. Putting a billboard, it would be a similar concept, but probably cost significantly more money and be less personal. So I really love this. I love the book exchange stuff. We've got one in our neighborhood that pops up and down. People drop books in. So mostly kids books for us, but I'd imagine that's probably what, I don't know. There might be a good mix of kids and adult books on the vacation destination spots.
Yeah, definitely. Well, on to one of our meatier topics for today, which is Costco has nearly sold all of the Vacasa units. And that is, I mean, just pretty wild when you consider how enormous Vacasa is. 32,000 units. That's not just like 2 businesses you have to sell, that's hundreds, over 600.
Yeah, and they sold them market by market, right? So that's, I don't know, 30 plus transactions, I would guess. I don't think we have that number. But to do that in a year and a half since the transaction happened is pretty substantial. So nice work to that team that was doing it. I know a lot goes into it, but the Vacasa inventory has a lot of value. It's a shame that the company that did all the roll-ups didn't work out. But I think what we've learned in the short-term rental world is that operations needs to be localized, and there you have to have that local look and feel. And you guys at STR are doing something similar, rolling up companies, but keeping that local look and feel, and even that local brand. So I think what I'm going to be super interested to track over the next year or two is the Costco franchise. How much additional value does franchise bring in a national brand? And we'll get into what's going to happen with the Vacasa name in just a second. But, I think in general, this is how the hotels operate. This is how hotels work. It's localized management operations, national franchise. I just want to see some companies get to 100,000 plus units and see if a national brand can be built. Where's the number? Where's the number that a national brand gets now? It's recognizable. The hotel brands took, a lot of them were started in the 40s or 50s. So they took a long time to get seasoned and built out. Are we ever going to see a national brand be a household name in short-term rentals? I hope so.
But I don't know. I was also thinking about this. Like when you're in a hotel, there's so many more opportunities for branding, right? Everything is in that one location, and you can have your branding in the units, right? But if you over brand, like if everything says, moving mountains literally everywhere, then that kind of takes away from the luxury feel. So there's a balance there. But yeah,
I don't know. People love those Ritz-Carlton hats or Fairmont golf shirts.
That's true. I was, now that I think before, when Vacasa was at its peak and there was a lot of owner churn, one of the selling points as another operator in a Vacasa market could be like, hey, we're not this big company, and we can offer more personalized attention. Our operations are here, blah blah blah. And now a lot of operators might find themselves with new competition that they previously had a really good pitch against, but now you have that Vacasa inventory and a new operator that is more localized, I would say,
and more invested in it, right?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of really good GMs out there, and this isn't a knock on them at all, but an owner is always going to be more invested than someone who's hired on, period.
Mm-hmm.
And historically, Eric Breon wasn't going to meet homeowners with Vacasa. In fact, I would be surprised if that happened in the past 5 years or in the last 5 years pre-IPO. But now it can happen. So you can have pitch the benefit of the national brand, but actually have the owner of that market be able to answer all the questions of how that market operates and works, have the passion and intensity and desire to make it work well. So I do think it can be quite compelling.
Yeah. Well, and then there's also, and with our PE frenemies, there's also, it was a great opportunity to just gobble up a bunch of markets, and now you get to present. You don't have to go out and acquire those brands individually. Now you just have them all together. So that was another interesting thing that has popped up. But I was thinking of another BD strategy that could work. Is now you can say, well, your owners, it's changed hands yet again. You could use, I don't think the operators need to fret too much. This could still work in your benefit if owners are like, okay, they're local now, but like this is the third change in 2 years or whatever. So I know not too many direct homeowners maybe listen to the show, but it would be really interesting to hear from homeowners that have been part of this journey with Vacasa. Do they feel now more relaxed and more, excited about the future? Or are they just do they have a little whiplash from because they don't know the ins and outs of this business very well. So this could just be another company and they might feel a little burned by past experiences.
Well, I mean, where they capped it 40 something thousand homes, or they peaked, and they're at about 32,000 according to this article. That's a pretty decent retention given all the volatility that's happened. And we know Vacasa, in acquiring of the 200 different businesses over 5 to 10 years, their churn rate was through the roof. So I'd be curious to track that 32,000 number over the next 12 months. And if it stays anywhere in the 30K range, then they've done an incredibly great job at retention. I don't know if it will. I think, to your point, if they haven't left yet, then they probably won't. They've seen a lot of ups and downs. The IPO is completely flopped, and then it's transacted again. So if they're still holding on to it, then good for them. They're doing something right.
The valuation drop from 4.5 billion to 100 million is pretty painful. But
that's where the selling off of these contracts, right? The 32,000 units is worth more than $100,000. They bought it for pennies on the dollar. Now, I'm sure there were lots of liabilities that we don't know about that came along with that, but we saw a $100 million transaction of the town bank, I think is what it was called.
Yeah, it was 200 million.
And 200 million, and that was 3,000 units.
I'll have to fact check.
Right? Somebody fact check us, but I think it was 100 million and 3,000 units. But regardless, 100 million for 32,000 units is vastly different. Lots of hair, had to go and sell a bunch of markets, turn a lot of them into Costco franchisees. But I think whoever bought it should have made a lot of money on it. Now, getting into what Vacasa is going to do, the name and the brand, they spent millions and millions of dollars driving direct bookings, and they did a good job of driving direct bookings at Vacasa. You can't just let a URL like that go. And so what John Banzak says in the article is they're going to turn this into a consumer platform and add supply in markets that isn't already represented through the Costco franchisees. So I don't think they're going to go add inventory in markets that would compete with their existing franchisees, but be able to offer. It'd be brutal, but look at what Marriott's doing. They changed the pricing of $10 on hotels, and and now you've got 3 hotels on your block instead of 1, competing on the Marriott brand. So
yeah,
it's
well,
not
if they're not doing
of.
it now, there's always a year from now or 6 months from now. So
Yep. But there's lots of markets that they're not in that they can go add. So I like the approach. Makes complete sense. The URL is primed, and if you already have the guest, you want to be able to show them inventory in a market they want to go to. And if it's not owned and controlled by your franchisees, then make a commission on the bookings otherwise. So I really do like that approach, that transition. So whoever came up with that, kudos. Curious to see, I'd love conversion numbers and stuff like that on it. Just like I'd love to see and track the Costco numbers of homes over the next 12 months. But yeah, I think they have played this out as good as you can.
Yeah. Well, I think the interesting part about this is that it'll be, I guess, easy to add if you're a Guesty or Streamline or Rentals United user. So that is some more, I think, smart partnerships happening. I mean, obviously, Costco and Vacasa have these partnerships with Guesty and Streamline, and Guesty owns Rentals United. So that all kind of like fits together really nicely. But it'll be interesting to see, like, if you're an operator that is how they're going to offer that. Like if you can just go into the marketplace and connect to vacasa.com. I don't think it's probably going to be like that right now. Although I can see a world in the future where like that's
I bet it will
frictionless.
be.
But it will be. It'll just be part of the distribution marketplace. You just go in there and doop, and now you're on.
I mean, we see the hotel chains starting to do the affiliate model. This is no different than the affiliate model, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's probably no cash transactions like Sonder got millions of dollars from Marriott to be an affiliate. But hopefully it doesn't end that way either.
Yeah. Let's hope not. But this is, I think, all in all, this has been one of the biggest stories in our industry in the last couple of years. And so it's nice. I mean, right now it seems, I mean, I'm sure like the work that's going on in the back end is probably just insane, but I think they should be proud of how this is panning out. This is a success at this point, you could call it. Not that the journey is over, but they really accomplished something impressive in a pretty short amount of time. April 2025 was when that closed. So that's just, a year and change later, and they've already sold almost all of those units. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. There's 600 left.
Yeah.
So if anyone wants them, they're still for sale.
Maybe you can start your own property management company.
There you go.
Well, before we move on to other big transactions in the news, want to give a shout out to our sponsors at Built. They're helping restaurants and hotel F&B teams better understand their guests and create more personalized experiences that drive repeat visits. So if you care about loyalty and guest experience, which all of our listeners do, it's definitely worth checking out. Head to joinbuilt.com/GMH.
Millions of people use Built every day to earn rewards on housing and in their neighborhoods. Now it extends to your restaurant. Built Hospitality shapes how guests are recognized and taken care of. Built's restaurant-facing platform is designed specifically for dining operators to drive loyalty with their guests. It combines reservations, guest preferences, VIP management, and payments into one platform, alongside an agentic concierge that thoughtfully designs and executes the experience around your guests' tastes. When a guest walks in, your team already knows what they like without digging through notes. Built Hospitality works across the entire guest journey, from delivering a complimentary course at the right moment to sending a personalized offer that brings them right back. Make every guest feel like a regular and keep them coming back. Built Hospitality is available now for hotels with restaurants and restaurant groups everywhere. Learn more at builtdining.com/GMH. That's built, BILTDINING.com/GMH.
So our next story today, I saw this floating around, interestingly, not just in my LinkedIn bubble of vacation rental industries, but also on regular news sites and on Instagram. But Airbnb just bought its first ever building in New York City. They paid $81 million for it. Some savvy people might recognize this from the Anna Delvey fake documentary or whatever that was. The German fake heiress who tried to start the social club. This is that building.
Interesting. It's a beautiful building.
It's a beautiful building. And honestly, I hope they do. They're so good at marketing. I really hope someone leans into that whole story, because that was like such a big thing, a big splash a couple of years ago. So hopefully, I'm sure there's someone in the marketing department that's thinking of something fun to tie in there.
Yeah, and I loved Chesky's comment on X. There's at least one legal Airbnb property in New York City. So
yeah.
Airbnb banned the majority of, New York City banned the majority of Airbnbs in 2022. And now Airbnb is returning the favor by spending $81 million on a building in New York. I don't know why they would choose that market. I mean, their two biggest office markets are San Francisco, where it's banned, and New York, where it's banned.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess it's for the talent that they've hired is, you know?
Yeah. I mean, talent is very important. And those two markets are arguably the number one and number two top tier talent pools in the country. But there's also got to be some sort of, I don't know, respect or the opposite, disrespect towards the cities that are saying, we want you to pay taxes here, but we're not going to let your business actually transact here. So
yeah, or work with you to help your business transact here. Yeah, it's, and you know, so something I saw, this was floating around on Instagram, so not in our our spheres, but it was like, oh, Airbnb bought a hotel, and I was like, nope, that's not what this is. Although who's to say what they'll do in the future, but I really doubt that's, I mean, I don't know.
I was going to ask, do you think Airbnb will ever buy real estate that's not an office?
I mean, I don't think so. I think, but you know what? It also, if you had asked me, when I was writing my thesis on Airbnb leading the sharing economy, I also wouldn't have thought that they would be the company they are now, of getting into hotels and all of these things. So who knows? Never say never, but I think unlikely in the near future.
Yeah, I think the only reason this article is fun is to just kind of try and picture Airbnb going. Well, there's two reasons it's fun. Try and picture Airbnb going and buying properties. But two, they're buying real estate in a market that they're completely banned in. So there's a little bit of mental gymnastics that have to happen. But if the article said Airbnb buys an office building,
it's not
and
news.
That's it. It's not news. So it's kind of a big nothing burger. They bought an office building. They have employees in New York. They have employees in San Francisco. They've not bought the San Francisco building. If it's a much, much bigger story if they buy an office building and turn the top 3 floors into unique, one of a kind Airbnbs. That'd be pretty cool, right?
Yeah, it's a cool building. Maybe
they
take
go get a hotel license for it, but
yeah,
I just don't.
Oh my God, that's what this is going to be. It's going to be half Airbnb office and then half Airbnb like super suites. And this is maybe where they take a page out of Anna Delvey's book and they turn the top couple floors into this clubhouse with rooms that you can rent. Yeah,
it's not impossible.
So,
I don't know the building, and I don't know if there's enough room, but it's not impossible. I mean, if you can go book an Airbnb experience, at one point it was spend a night in the Louvre. Mm-hmm. Why not spend the night in an Airbnb office, Well, yeah. I know why, because it's banned in New York where you bought the building. So can't do it.
Can't do it. Yes. Well, speaking of Airbnb bans, there is a really long New York Times article about Barcelona trying to curb their tourism numbers. And this has come up a lot in the news in the last couple of years. There was lots of, pictures of protesters spraying people with water guns and stuff like that. But the phrase that has come out of this is not one tourist more. And I think it's important to note that it does not mean that they are going to stop letting tourists in. It just means they're setting a cap at 16 million for the number of tourists that can come in a given year. And that's still a lot of people. And I have to say, I understand a lot of the anger, like the big markets in Barcelona where people used to go and actually buy food. Now it's all catered to tourists. A lot of the homes in the center of the city are now, have been turned into Airbnbs. So while that, in these historic centers where like a lot of tourists are, so I can understand why people are upset. However, like one of the measures is capping or raising the tax on day cruisers. And I would say maybe the solution is just banning day cruises. Like if your cruise ship is coming in for a night or two where people are going to be spending at a hotel and going into the city, that's fine. But if you really, I feel like there's more concrete steps to take. There seems to be a lot of like grandstanding about this. It's like you could also limit the number of flights that come in, but are you going to tell EasyJet not to deposit people in Barcelona? Probably not.
Yeah, several comments on it. 13% of the Barcelona economy is tourism based, which is a pretty chunky bit. It's not as much as you see from like Cape Verde, but it's still a pretty hefty bit. The other piece is, and I know you love Barcelona, but there's so many Madrid, cool smaller cities in Europe to go visit that I'm not against big cities starting to ban or limit tourists, and that'll better benefit the smaller towns that need it more and would appreciate it and be happy to have guests come. So ban away. New York City bans it, and New Jersey goes through the roof. Ban it. Just go for it, guys.
Yeah, well, what was interesting, and that I didn't realize this at all, is that most of the tourism comes from within Spain, and then followed by the United States, which is not surprising. Everybody really loves Spain, and there's lots of easy flights to Barcelona, so it makes a lot of sense. But I think from an internal standpoint, is the Spanish Tourism Authority going to start marketing to their own people like, hey, try to go to Asturias or, Sevilla or somewhere else, like to get people dispersed around the country. And that also, I mean, that's a huge portion of the people that are coming in. And yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if a higher tax on those day cruises actually makes a difference, or if they should just ban them. There's like, my greatest nightmare is being on a cruise ship and disembarking with thousands of Americans in a port city, specifically a European port city. Like that sounds like an absolute nightmare to me. I couldn't. I would stay on the boat. That's just, you wouldn't find me on the boat, but whatever.
It's a whole other topic.
It's a whole other topic.
Get into that.
But yeah, I think it's, you're already seeing some over tourism is going to continue to be a topic, and it's a struggle because as you said, so much of the economy is built off of tourism. So you want to manage it correctly. And you also, the rage of the locals needs to be, when you start feeling those sentiments, it's like it's kind of on these cities to catch them before it's happening in Portugal, where they open these golden visa program, or not golden visa, but nomad visa programs, and then tons of expats come in, and then now the price of a one bedroom in Lisbon is equivalent to basically what people make in a month. So it's, there's these economic stimulus ideas are great, but I think if any other countries or cities are thinking about doing this, see what some of your brethren have done right and wrong, and maybe put in some policies so that so the anger doesn't get to this point, and you don't have to start banning things, and there isn't this tension between the local population and all the people that want to come and enjoy your city.
Yeah, but I think there's always going to be that friction. Ultimately, the Portuguese economy is better off, arguably, for having opened up this golden visa. But the local residents are the ones that are not the ones benefiting from it. They have higher prices because there's more competition for housing. We've seen it in the United States, too. Immigration drives up home prices. Yeah. It's
Miami. Canada. That was Canada, crazy.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's just economics. It's good for a lot of people and it's bad for a lot of people, and that's where it becomes a really difficult thing. I know the hotels and the people that rely on tourism in Barcelona want more tourism. They don't want less, but that's, again, about 15% of the residents. Barcelona is also a really big student city and a really big Erasmus international student city.
Yeah.
They're wreaking havoc too. I guarantee you. Brandy was one of them.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I was very well behaved.
I'm sure. But I don't know. I like smaller cities personally, so I'm all for big cities banning it and then pushing people into smaller cities. And there's a lot more smaller cities than bigger cities, and those dollars can go a lot further in smaller towns. So everybody kind of wins. You might miss out on what's the famous church called?
Sagrada Familia.
Sagrada. Yeah, you might miss out on that, but you'll see other beautiful churches and probably have a lot more warm, welcoming experience from the locals than you would in Paris or in Barcelona.
Yeah. Well, we have some international adventures coming our way later this year, so that'll be fun.
A big city, yeah. Madrid. Never been to Madrid. So curious to.
I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I can't wait to.
So
my list of places I want to take you is way too long.
All right. Well, shout out Guesty. We're going to Guestyval in right at 2 months now.
That's crazy.
we're not too far from that. The year is flying by and conference season is upon us. But Brandy, I am excited to see you and so many more folks in just a few days here, and super interested to hear what comes out of it, where everybody's head is with where the direction of the industry is going. And I'm sure we'll have lots to talk about next episode.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will see you all next Monday.